Welcome back to our Tuesday new book selection. Today we've got quite a few new big name authors to tell you about. First one is Anthony Doerr. He is the author of All the Light We Cannot See. The 13-year-old Anna, an orphan, lives inside the formidable walls of Constantinople in a house of women who make their living embroidering their robes of priests. Restless, insatiable, curious, Anna learns to read, and in this ancient city, famous for its library, she finds a book, the story of Athon, who longs to be turned into a bird so that he can fly to a utopian paradise in the sky. Cloud Cuckoo Land. Next one is a new one by Nicholas Sparks, The Wish. In 1996, everything changed for Maggie Dawes. Sent away at 16 to live with her aunt she barely knew in Okeechobee, a remote village on North Carolina's Outer Banks. She could only think of her friends and the family she left behind until she meets Price Ticket. Nicholas Sparks, The Wish. Next is What Storm, What Thunder, a novel by Miriam Chancey. This is at the end of a long, sweltering day as markets and businesses begin to close for the evening. An earthquake of 7.0 magnitude shakes the capital of Haiti, Port-au-Prince. The author masterfully charts the inner lives of the characters affected by the disaster. What Storm, What Thunder. Next one, The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. Elizabeth, Joyce, Ron, and Ibrahim, the Thursday Murder Club, are still riding high off their recent real-life murder case and looking forward to a bit of peace and quiet at Cooper's Chase, their posh retirement village. But they are out of luck. Man Who Died Twice. This next one is The Book of Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is a continuation of her series about the sisters, and the first one was Practical Magic. Yeah. The novel begins in a library, the best place for the story to be conjured, when beloved Aunt Jet Owens hears the Death Watch beetle and knows she has only 7 days to live. Jet is not the only one in danger. The curse is already at work. Alice Hoffman. A new James Patterson, Two Sisters Detective Agency. Two sisters go into a family business they didn't know they had, catching killers. Next one is the new one by Jonathan Franzen, Crossroads. It's December 1971 and heavy weather is forecast for Chicago. Russ Hildebrand, the associate pastor of a liberal suburban church, is on the brink of breaking free of a marriage he finds joyless, unless his wife Marion, who has her own secret life, beats him to it. Jonathan Franzen. New Stuart Woods, it's a Stone Barrington novel. Stone Barrington is nearing his New York City abode when he stumbles into trouble. As it turns out, a new client is in danger, and with both business and the safety of the city at stake, he has no choice but to get involved. Stuart Woods. Next one, Karen Kingsbury, Forgiving Paris. Could Ashley Baxter Blake's journey to forgiveness lead her to the back to the city of light? Karen Kingsbury. The next one is The Lincoln Highway by the author of A Gentleman in Moscow, Amor Tolls. In June 1954, 18-year-old Emmett Watson is driven home to Nebraska by the warden of a juvenile work farm where he has just served 15 months for involuntary manslaughter. His mother long gone, his father recently deceased, and the family farm foreclosed upon by the bank. Emmett's intention is to pick up his 8-year-old brother Billy and head to California where they can start their lives anew. The Lincoln Highway. The Cabinet by Unsoon Kim. Cabinet 13 looks exactly like any normal filing cabinet, except this cabinet is filled with files on the symptomers, people whose weird abilities and bizarre experiences might just mark the emergence of a new species. That sounds good. Next one is Gregory Maguire. He's the author of Wicked. This is a new trilogy, the volume 1 of a new trilogy, The Brides of Merricour. The Brides of Merricour, volume 1 of the trilogy, Another Day, finds Rain, who is Elphaba's granddaughter, far from Oz. Gregory Maguire. Next is one of our historical romances, Lorraine Heath, The Duchess Hunt. If there exists a more unpleasant task in the world than deciding who is to marry the man you love, Penelope Pettypiece certainly can't imagine what it might be. Still, she is determined to find the perfect bride for her clueless yet ruthlessly charming employer. The Duchess Hunt. And the last one in fiction is the new J.K. Rowling. She's the author of the Harry Potter books. It's called The Christmas Pig. It's a children's book. Jack loves his childhood toy, Doerr Pig. DP has always been there for him through good and bad, until one Christmas Eve, something terrible happens. DP is lost. The Christmas Pig.
All right, now for the nonfiction, we've got Flesh and Blood by N. West Moss. That's reflections on infertility, family, and creating a bountiful life. Then we have Pump. It's a natural history of the heart by Bill Schutt. There's this book, Invisible Child, Poverty, Survival, and Hope in an American City by Andrea Elliott. She's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and book is about her experience sort of following this one particular child for about 8 years, and just the journey that this child goes on and what it reflects about our society. Then we have the Afghanistan Papers, A Secret History of the War by Craig Whitlock, so it's very timely. And then we have a few memoirs. We've got Bourdain, The Definitive Oral Biography by Lori Woolliver. We have Unrequited Infatuations by Stevie Van Zandt. He was a member of the E Street Band, so he played with Bruce Springsteen. He also acted in The Sopranos, so this would probably be a pretty interesting memoir of his life. And then final memoir we've got is Stanley Tucci. It's called Taste, My Life Through Food. So this is kind of him exploring his life, his experiences, and his love of food.
Okay, and we've got some large prints we wanted to tell you about today. This is West of the Big River, The Doctor, a novel based on the life of Dr. George Goodfellow by Clay Moore. High Country Justice, a Caleb Marlowe novel. Famous for lightning quick draw and nerves of steel, Caleb Marlowe is mysterious, guarded, and unpredictable. Now he wants to leave his past behind, but the past has a way of dogging a man. High Country Justice. Another Western, Mickey Spillane and Max Allen Collins shootout at the Sugar Creek. Caleb York Western. A young scoundrel gets what he deserves from the blazing .44 of Sheriff Caleb York. The lawman doesn't regret taking such deadly action, but the late youth's powerful mother seems bound to feel differently. A Fiance's Guide to First Wives and Murders, A Countess of Harley Mystery by Diane Freeman. This is about a widow. For Frances Wynne, widow to the late Earl of Harley, life has a cosmopolitan flavor of late. No sooner has she sent her mother and daughter off on a shopping trip to Paris than she and her fiancé, George Hazelton, are socializing with visiting members of a Russian royal family. Fiance's Guide to First Wives and Murder. Since You've Been Gone by Terry Ferris. Lee Williams is back in this quaint town of Heritage, Michigan, and ready to try again to make her business a success. But blank slates are hard to come by, and a piece of her past is waiting for her there. Since you've been gone. Independent Bones by Carolyn Haynes. She is a Mississippi writer. This is Sarah Booth Delaney mystery. When Dr. Alala Diakis, a visiting professor of Greek literature, comes to teach at Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi, it doesn't take long for controversy to follow. Independent Bones.
And finally, we've got a few audiobooks. The first one is a nonfiction audiobook by Tucker Carlson, The Long Slide. It's him looking at 30 years in American journalism. Then we also have this book by Eric Larson, who, if you're a nonfiction fan, you may recognize his name. This is actually a novel that he's written called No One Goes Alone. It's pioneering psychologist William James leads an expedition to a remote isle in search of answers after a family inexplicably vanishes. Was this cause rooted in the physical world, or were there forces more paranormal and sinister at work? Interestingly enough, this is only available as an audiobook because, as Larson says, ghost stories are best told aloud. So if you're interested in this, look for the audiobook. We have some more fiction. This is No Gods, No Monsters by Caldwell Turnbull. One October morning, Lena gets the news that her brother has been shot and killed by Boston cops, but what looks like a case of police brutality soon reveals something much stranger. Monsters are real and they want everyone to know it. So it's going to be a fantasy.
Creepy.
Yeah. Then there's Beautiful World, Where Are You? That's by Sally Rooney. This is a new novel, and it's about 4 friends and sort of their lives and loves. Then we have this novel called The Last Mona Lisa by Jonathan Samplifur. The past and present collide in this tale of art theft, forgery, and murder, exploring the secrets of the 1911 theft of the Mona Lisa. And finally, a thriller called These Toxic Things. That's by Rachel Housel Hall. This is all about Mickey Lambert. She creates digital scrapbooks for people, and when one of her clients dies mysteriously, she's left with all these objects, and there's just kind of weird things start happening as she starts exploring her client's life through those objects.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, and if you're interested in any of these books, check out our website and we can put them on hold, or come by the library and check out our new bookshelf. Thank you.